What is inflation? Have you noticed? A basket of groceries that cost you $80 last year is now worth $110. Gasoline is more expensive today than it was yesterday. Tuition, food out, rent, all of it is going up. You're not imagining it. It's inflation. A word that's familiar on the news but unfamiliar in everyday life until it silently steals every penny from your wallet. Today, we'll learn together, what is inflation, why does it happen, and most importantly, how to avoid getting swept away by this wave of prices. Let's start with the simplest definition. Inflation is the average increase in the price of goods and services over time. It's not just the price of a single item that increases, but the entire system of prices, from gasoline, food, housing, to movie tickets, to haircuts. When inflation occurs, the purchasing power of a dollar decreases. Put simply, you can buy less with the same amount of money than you did a year ago. Inflation does not happen randomly. It comes from three main mechanisms. 1. Demand pull inflation, when consumer demand increases sharply, exceeding supply. For example, after the pandemic, people rushed to shop, travel, causing prices of tickets, goods to skyrocket. 2. Cost push inflation. When production costs increase, raw materials, transportation, labor, then product prices are forced to increase. 3. Monetary inflation. When the amount of money in the economy increases too much, like large financial bailouts, the dollar loses its value. There are two indicators you should know. CPI, Consumer Price Index, measures the average price of a basket of goods and services that represents people's lives. PPI, Producer Price Index, measures prices at the producer level, shows future price trends. Who controls inflation? The answer is the U.S. Federal Reserve, Fed. They control the amount of money in the economy, adjust interest rates, raise interest rates to reduce spending, attract money, with the goal of keeping inflation at a healthy level, around 2% per year. In 2022, the U.S. recorded a 40-year high of 9.1%. Gas prices hit a peak of $5 per gallon. Food prices increased by 10 to 15%. Rents increased by nearly 20% in some cities. The cost of college, healthcare, insurance all increased. A real story I have seen. Maria, a nurse in California, shared, "I used to spend $500 a month on food. Now it's $700. I still buy the same things, they're just more expensive." Or James, a retiree, said, "My pension is fixed, but my electricity, gas, and healthcare bills are going up. I'm forced to cut out eating out, the little things I used to love." The world is also struggling. In Argentina, inflation is set to exceed 200% in 2024, with money losing value rapidly. Europe struggles with energy prices after the Ukraine-Russia war. Vietnam, a developing country, is under pressure from imported gasoline and food prices. Inflation spares no country. The impact of inflation. Why should we worry? Inflation is not just about numbers. It touches the lives, sleep, and futures of each person. But it also entails 1. Falling living standards. When wages don't keep up with prices, you find yourself working harder but living poorer. 2. Deepening social injustice. The poor are hit hardest because most of their income is spent on necessities. Businesses shrink. Investment decreases. When costs increase, profits decrease. They cut staff, growth slows. 4. Interest rates increase, borrowing becomes difficult. The Fed raises interest rates to fight inflation, but that makes it harder for people to buy houses and for businesses to borrow money. 5. The Phillips curve shows that when inflation is low, unemployment is high. When unemployment is low, inflation can increase. This is a difficult problem for every economy. How to fight inflation? On the government side, raise interest rates, monetary tightening. The Fed will do this from mid-2022. Reduce public spending, increase taxes, fiscal policy. Help reduce demand in the economy. But that is a double-edged sword. Reducing public spending too much will cause recession. On the personal side, what can we do? Understand money, personal finance. Record spending. Allocate budget reasonably, 50-30-20. Avoid bad debt, high interest. Invest smartly. Transfer part of assets to gold, real estate, inflation-protected bonds, tips. Diversify investments. Do not put all eggs in one basket. Improve skills. Invest in yourself. Learn and master skills to increase your income. In all periods, knowledge is an investment immune to inflation. Lessons and solutions. Look beyond the numbers. Governments need to be transparent, providing information at the right time in the right way. People need knowledge, so as not to be swept away by the crowd, speculation, fear. Financial education should start in school, from high school. Smart consumption is the first line of defense. Consider carefully before every expense. Remember, what is abnormally cheap today can be a trap tomorrow. Looking to the future. We cannot control the market, but we can control our financial behavior. Understanding is the most powerful weapon against price instability.